So my first question is for you, John. Really basic. Where did the idea for Grimcutty come from?
Yeah, I mean, it just came when I saw this like new local news report about the Momo challenge back when that was happening, and
I was going to ask you about momos.
I think I was just really struck by the disconnect between what parents thought it was and what kids thought it was, because it kind of opened with a bunch of scaremongering, and then they'd go to a segment where they're like, we asked kids what they thought about it, and the kids were just, what are you talking about? Um, it was just ripe for satire. It just almost kind of wrote itself, and I kind of mixed it in with Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and it all just kind of came together.
Hell yeah. And then how did you kind of conceptualize the design of the creature?
I had this idea in my head for a while about like a creature with like a white face and like a black cowl, because I wanted to do stuff where like the face is kind of like in the darkness and you can't quite make it out, and then it like starts to move. And I just thought that would be really freaky. And then I did a sketch of it with help from an artist friend of mine. And then when the movie got greenlit, we did some more work on the design just to kind of streamline it and make it scarier and just kind of more reminiscent of the like online, the online myths and creepypastas that we're sort of referencing. Cool. And then yeah, it turned out great.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. My dog here would like to participate in the interview. So Sarah and Usman, I'm also wondering what drew you to the script. And Sarah, I want to start with you about what kind of drew you to being part of Grimcutty.
Yeah, so I got the audition and I saw the name. I'm like, cool, Grimcutty. I read the sides and I really connected to Asha, and I was like a fan of like doing like horror projects, and I love like the high stakes situations, and also like the scene. I think one of the audition scenes was like the parents telling Asha and Kamran to put their phones in the box. I'm like, why is this happening? What's happening? And then I read the script, and everything, all the elements that came together was just like it was a good story. That's what it was. And so yeah, all the elements just drew me to it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for me as well, a lot of what Sarah has said would ring true for me also. But I think what was also very important was the opportunity to play these roles as an actor of color. I don't think this kind of representation of mixed race family, a South Asian father, is something you see very much in the genre of horror, let alone television. But it was exciting to be able to have this family be the portrayal of the quintessential American family dealing with something. I don't think that's seen enough. And so it was really great that John had written that, and that Hulu and 20th Digital were excited to do that as well. So that was a big draw for me also.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. And so we talked a little bit about Momo, but do any of you have like a favorite like creepypasta or urban legend that really gets under your skin besides that? And John, I'll start with you. Do you have another one besides Momo that kind of like freaks you out?
Oh my God. Who's the guy in like the dark basement with like the big head?
What?
I don't know. I'm kind of embarrassed that I can't remember the name of it right now.
Okay.
But yeah, it was definitely inspired. And then there's like, of course, the Jeff the Killer face that you see all over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a whole. It's like a whole world. You have to dive into that world and swim around in it. You'll get kind of a feel for the whole thing.
Yeah. Sarah, what about you? Do you have any like? Are you familiar with any of that kind of stuff?
Not really. I just remember as a kid, like once you mentioned that, I just remember like back at summer camp and like a bunch of kids were saying Bloody Mary 3 times in the mirror, and then we're
classic, always a good one, always a very good one.
You're maybe more, but like as a kid, that's when I was, yeah.
And then Usman, do you have like an urban legend or something like that that kind of has stuck out with you?
I would have to say for me, being a kid, I was the youngest of four kids, and I was just traumatized primarily by the things that my siblings would do to me, and it was basically like things from the films and the movies that they were watching. So I remember, God, one time, and this is not an urban legend, but I was forced to watch Candyman with my siblings,
Oh
and
no.
then my sister put me in a room and like she said Candyman 5 times and shut the door and locked it. And I was
Oh man.
like 10 or something. I was terrified. So things like that for sure. But also just, in Pakistani culture, spirits and like the that sort of world exists very much alongside us. And so
Yeah.
you constantly hear these stories about like witches and about spirits and ghosts and things like that. And so I grew up hearing all those kinds of stories from my parents who really, really honestly believed in it. So I have a deep sense of like, oh, there is this other thing that exists.
Cool. Well,
Yeah,
thank you all so much for talking with me today about Grimcutty. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.